Welcome to the Empowered Esthetician podcast. I'm your host, Shaylee from Glossus Social, marketing made easy for estheticians. I truly cannot express the excitement that I have right now. I am so stoked to be actually sitting down recording this first ever podcast episode for you. This podcast has been such a long time coming. I have been wanting to start this podcast for you for so long. I've been planning, I've been taking notes when I can and jotting down ideas for the podcast, but I just haven't had the time, which I'm sure you can relate to. There's only so much time in a day, especially when you're an entrepreneur, business owner, wife, mother, you name it. I'm just so excited to actually be able to dedicate the time now to starting this project and this podcast for you. So I just really love podcasts because I don't know, there's just something about putting in your headphones, popping in your AirPods, turning your speaker on, and just listening to something while you're going for a walk or doing a workout, or even just having it in the background as you work, because it's like you're doing something else. Your main focus is on your workout or on your work or something, but then your subconsciousness is like taking in and absorbing all of the information from the podcast. So it just kind of has like a deeper level of, I don't know, like taking it all in. And sometimes like you never know the power of your subconscious mind. So that's why I love podcasts. It's kind of just another way to absorb information and just, another way to learn. So this podcast is really going to be a mixture of several different things. It's going to be a little bit different than my other marketing channels. So for example, my Instagram, my YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, like those are all really heavily focused on educational content and like trainings and tutorials on like actually teaching you and showing you what to do when it comes to marketing yourself as an esthetician or marketing your aesthetics business or a spa or whatever it may be. But I really want this podcast to be a healthy mixture of educational, but also like inspirational and motivational stuff, because I want my personality to shine a little bit in this podcast, because I'm super into everything like growth mindset, success mindset, really overcoming your limiting beliefs. Because I am an entrepreneur. I was working an office job that literally sucked the life out of me, a 9-to-5 job that I was working way more than 40 hours. And I had a little baby at home, and I realized that I did not want to do that for the rest of my life. And at the time, like I had literally no idea what it took to be a business owner, to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know the steps that I needed to take, but I somehow made it happen, and we can go into that story another day. But I understand, you're going to aesthetic school, or you went to aesthetic school so that you can do something and build something of your own. Even if you're contracted at a spa and you never intend to own your own aesthetics business, you're still building a personal brand. You're building your brand as an esthetician, or as, a waxing pro or a lash artist or whatever it may be. Like you don't have to own your own business to have an entrepreneurial, mindset or an entrepreneurial drive. So I'm super interested in those types of things. And I really want to share with you some of the experiences that I've had, because I know that it will easily translate into your life, no matter what avenue you're taking. And I just feel like really called to share that with you and share that to the world. And I don't think that, my social media channels are necessarily the channels to do that. So I'm hoping that this podcast can be that for you and for me, because I think this podcast can be super enjoyable for both of us, for me and for you. It honestly like feels like I am talking directly to you, which is super cool. I'm sitting here in my office right now, and I have this wall. One of my walls is completely covered in little cards that I write. Okay, so these cards are like affirmation cards. So I'm looking at one right now, and it says, I am patient with others and myself. So they're little affirmation cards like that, and they're all different colors. And every time one of you enrolls in one of my courses, for example, all of the ones that I'm looking at right now are from estheticians and beauty industry professionals who have enrolled in my socially empowered esthetician course, I take one card, and when I'm choosing a card, I lay them all out and I really think about this person that just purchased my course, which I don't know who this person is. I don't know what your day-to-day life looks like. I don't really know anything about you, but I try to be super, super mindful when I have these affirmation cards laid out in front of me and I'm thinking of your name, and I look at these affirmation cards and I literally choose which one that I'm drawn to. So, for example, Marin got the I am patient with others and myself affirmation card. And so I wrote her name on the affirmation card and then I put it up on my wall. So all of the estheticians who have purchased any of my courses have a specific affirmation card with their name on it, and my wall is covered with them. And hopefully, soon enough, my entire room, like all of the walls in my office room, are going to be covered with these affirmation cards. And that has been like such a great choice for, I don't know how I came up with it, but I'm so glad that I did, because every time I post myself putting one of these affirmation cards up on my story, on my Instagram stories, or if I send a picture of the card to my new student, I can't tell you how many times they've been like, oh my gosh, like I really needed that, or like this really resonated with me, like thank you so much. I just think it's really cool because I don't know you at all, but apparently the affirmation card that I've chosen for you, you know, sometimes you need to hear those things. I want to show you that I truly care about you and that you are listening to this podcast, because it means that you are taking the first step to calling in abundance, whatever that means for you. Maybe that's, a new monthly goal, revenue goal for your business, whether that's you want to be more in tune and in touch with yourself, in your business or in your profession or even in your personal life. And I just hope that this podcast can be a light in your life, because it sure is a light in my life right now. I'm really excited to be recording this for you. So before we get into the next episodes, which will, have themes and we'll talk about certain topics, I just want to kind of give you a little bit of a background on myself and introduce myself, because I have occasionally on my Instagram and YouTube and whatnot, but I think that I haven't really ever gone like super into depth on my background and what made me come to, start a business for marketing for estheticians. I graduated from the University of Wyoming with a bachelor's degree in marketing and business management. I was living in a pretty rural area in Wyoming, and I was working as an office manager at a nonprofit organization. And after I received my bachelor's degree, I was like, okay, well, now what? I knew that I wanted to utilize my marketing degree for something, but I didn't really know what. And the problem that I was facing is that, Wyoming is pretty rural, and I knew that I knew I wanted to do something big and I wanted to help like so many people. Like I've always just had that drive in my heart that I want to touch so many people's lives and I want to change the lives of others. But I didn't think that I'd be able to find a marketing job in the rural town that I was in that was going to allow me to reach the heights that I wanted to, reach the people that I wanted to, and make like a huge, huge difference in the world. And I know that those are like really big, ambitious goals, but I am the type of person that I don't care how big or ambitious it is. I'm just going to go for it. Even if it seems totally unrealistic, I'm going to do it. And I'm either going to fail, which is totally okay, or I'm going to succeed. And either of those options sounds okay to me because I tried. So that's how I've always been. I just realized that I wasn't going to be able to find a marketing position in the town that I was in. And so, at that same time, I had a newborn baby girl, and this office manager position that I was in was very time consuming. It was draining. Some of the work that I was doing, I was working with small businesses in the area, and that was definitely the highlight of my job, was being able to help and connect and provide resources for small businesses in my area. But the job itself was so demanding. I was working way, way, way more hours than I should have been. And I guess that probably also comes from me being super loyal to whatever I do. I am one that will always go above and beyond to be the best I possibly can and provide the best possible like results for whatever I'm invested in. I guess part of it is probably my fault because I had, a hard time setting boundaries, but I wanted to fulfill the obligations that I said I was going to, and it just took way more time than I than I expected it to. And like I said, I had like a newborn baby at home. I had a husband who works in law enforcement, and of course, I don't know if anyone else's family members are in law enforcement, but that's, a challenge on its own, especially when you have like a newborn baby and night shift. And I was exhausted. I, desperately wanted to be at home with my baby. I just knew that I didn't want that for myself. I didn't want that for my baby. And so I was like, okay, I have two options. One, I could either continue doing what I'm doing, being completely exhausted, where I don't have the energy that I want to have to spend with my baby, to spend with my husband, to spend on myself. Gosh, I didn't even know what self care was at that time. Like, I had no time for that. So I could continue doing all of those things, or I could change my path and start my own business because I'm not going to be able to find, a marketing position that I need anywhere near here. So I started looking into what I could do on my own with my experiences and my marketing degree. And I fell upon this opportunity. It was a work from home, a remote job where I was an independent contractor for a specific social media marketing agency. So they didn't do anything else besides social media marketing. And it was just for skincare professionals. And so I ended up getting the position. And what I did was the account manager pretty much for all of these spas and estheticians. So I created the graphics, I wrote the captions, I did all of the creative process for their social media accounts. And I absolutely loved it. I completely fell in love. And at the time, this was like a 30-hour-a-week position. And I was also still working full time at my office manager job because, when you're on this fine line of you want to work for yourself, but you don't quite have the savings saved up or whatever it may be to feel confident enough to take that leap. Like I couldn't do that yet. And so I was working two pretty much full-time jobs with a newborn baby. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done, but it was the most rewarding thing. And I think that that's really true in a lot of things is, you really don't know what your limits are until you push your limits. And I really pushed my limits. And I'm so glad that I did because I had no idea that I was capable of the things that I was capable of, right? Until I completely faced extreme exhaustion, stress, and all of the above. Now, I'm not saying you have to, reach that point to figure out you're capable of things because if anything, if I provide anything to anyone, I truly want to be able to experience these things and teach others my experiences so that you don't have to do that. I'll get into human design some other day, but I'm super into human design energy types. And that's what my human design energy type is. Like, that's what I'm called to do is I'm called to find new ways to do things that haven't ever been done before and be able to teach people those things so that they don't have to go through them themselves. But anyways, okay, back to creating social media posts for the estheticians. I absolutely love that. I did that for quite some time, and then I realized that I had so much more knowledge outside of social media, like in all other aspects of marketing, that I could really fill a need for these, skincare professionals, beauty industry professionals, because social media is literally just one aspect of marketing. Like, don't get me wrong, social media marketing is very, very important. especially in today's world, but it's only one aspect of marketing yourself or your business. And so I had so many ideas of other ways that I could help this industry. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do that by just being an account manager for this social media agency. So I finally, had enough saved up and I decided to completely take the leap. So I quit my office manager job and I started my own freelance digital marketing agency. And gosh, that was just the best decision I've ever made. I think it was literally within 30 days, I had tripled my income from my office manager job. Becoming an entrepreneur has been the best decision I've ever made. It's been super, super hard, but it's been so rewarding. And, I feel like I was just led in the direction that I was meant to go, which is providing marketing resources in easily digestible ways to the skincare industry, to the aesthetics industry. And so Glosys Social was born. And I first started out by seeing one on one clients. So, for example, an esthetician or a med spa hired me to manage their social media, their email marketing, their websites one on one. They would pay me like on a monthly basis. And I absolutely loved doing that. I got a ton of experience. I produced a ton of amazing results for my clients and learned so much. And, at one point I was like, oh my gosh, these methods and strategies that I'm using to produce results for my one on one clients, so many more people need to hear about this. I wanted to be able to help, the aesthetic student that just graduated and is wanting to go solo right off the bat. I wanted to be able to help the solo esthetician who just started their business 3 months ago and isn't getting any clients because they don't know how to market their business, right? Your aesthetic schools likely did not teach you how to market yourself. And you cannot have a business or a successful business without marketing. Word of mouth is marketing, getting out in the community is marketing, email, social, website, like everything is marketing. And if you didn't have that, you literally wouldn't have a business, right? And so it honestly is crazy to me that the aesthetics programs don't teach any type of marketing. And if they do, it's like super, super limited or dated. It just blows my mind, honestly, because like I said, whether you're contracted at a spa somewhere or you're still in aesthetic school, you still need marketing. You still need to build a personal brand to set yourself up because you never know if down the road you want to, go solo or you want to start your own business and your end goal is to start a skincare line or to own a spa that rents out studio rooms. You never know, right? I wanted to be able to share all of my knowledge with as many estheticians as I possibly could. But the kicker, the average esthetician was not going to be able to hire me for $1,500 plus every single month. And not only that, I am only one person, so I'm very limited. So like I would be capped out at, 20, 25 clients because I want to be able to provide, the most attention to all of my clients, and I can only see so many clients at once. So I decided that this is just not working. I love working with my clients, but this doesn't help me accomplish the big end dream goal that I have of like literally changing the world. And so I was like, okay, I need to do something else. What am I going to do? How am I going to do this? How am I going to help all of these people with, no matter their resources, right? No matter if you're making 10 figures a month or if you're still in aesthetic school, how am I going to help these people? I thought long and hard about it and I came across online courses. I started doing a ton of research and I was like, that is the answer. The answer is for me to create online courses so that I can help unlimited people, because I'm not bound by one on one client time. So I can literally put all of my knowledge, all of my experiences, all of the methods, all of the strategies that I use to help my one on one clients see results. I can put this all into an online course so that Anyone can purchase it. They can have lifetime access to these courses, have access to me and all of my brain power and experiences without having to pay $1,500 plus a month to have me do it for them. And the other cool thing that I really loved about this idea is that, okay, so maybe they're still in aesthetic school and they choose to take this course. Well, they now have the foundational knowledge, they have the steps and know what they need to do to get the results of whatever the course teaches. But then let's say, 3 years from that time, they're graduated, they've started their own solo practice, and now they have the income to be able to hire an assistant. Well, heck, now they have lifetime access to the course. Instead of spending their time training their assistant to take over their marketing or to do their social media or email marketing, they can literally just say, hey, assistant, here, sit down, watch this course. And, this course will train them and they'll be able to start doing it. And so, they know that their assistant is getting trained properly. They don't have to take the time to do it. And they can pay the assistant at like half the price of hiring a social media manager or a digital marketer. The opportunities for this, I felt, were absolutely endless. I knew that this was going to be the way that I can reach the most people, help the most people, and change the most lives. And so that's what I did. I stopped seeing one-on-one clients. I started to create my first course, which was Socially Empowered Estheticians. And now I'm at a time where I'm starting to build more courses. So, how to DIY your own website, how to run effective paid ads, how to create your own branding. I knew that this was the answer. And so that's what I did. And I'm just really, really excited to see what the future holds. And so this podcast is meant to be just another avenue where, whether you're a lash artist, whether you are a PMU artist, whether you're a solo esthetician, body sculpting, whatever it may be, med spa owner, you still can take these things that I teach on the podcast, on my YouTube channel, on my social media, and easily translate them into whatever niche or industry you're in. That's the good thing about marketing is, yes, I really focus on esthetician specific marketing, but these strategies and methods are easily translatable no matter what industry or niche you're in. I'm super excited about this podcast. The next episode is going to be frequently asked questions that I always get about social media. I know that you will have some of the same questions that I'm going to go over in my next episode. So be sure to subscribe. And I just am so stoked that you are going to be on this journey of this super amazing podcast, and I can't wait to continue it with you. So until next time, I appreciate you being here. I know that it was a little scrambled, but gosh, it's my first podcast episode. And, I'm totally all about being perfectly imperfect, right? Like, you're never going to grow unless you are not afraid of being imperfect. Like, I am not perfect. This podcast episode was absolutely not perfect. I squirreled so many times, but if you leave with anything from this podcast episode, I want you to be and feel empowered to just start. Just put out that post, put out that reel, put out that YouTube video. Even if you feel like it's a total disaster, it's something. Something is better than nothing, and practice makes progress. Practice does not make perfect, because you will never be perfect, but you will never progress in life or in your business or in whatever you're putting your efforts towards if you don't actually start and just do something, even if it's not perfect. So go out there, post that reel, post that YouTube video, do something that makes you feel uncomfortable, because that is the first step in growing. I will see you in the next episode.